Hello and welcome to UnCoined. My name is Michelle. If you feel so inclined, do hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Why is IOTA feeless? This is an argumentation that we as a community bring a lot of the time to try to convince our fellow crypto enthusiasts that IOTA is the best currency. But often I feel like we fail to know the reasons behind why actually IOTA is feeless and what makes it different from other blockchain cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and most of the other altcoins. So let's take a dive into the reasons behind that. So blockchains, as well as services such as PayPal or your regular credit cards like MasterCard, Visa, or American Express, essentially work like the, unfortunately, very unsharp image in front of you. But I think that the message that the image shows is understandable, and that's why I left it in. But essentially, you make a transaction, as the figure on the left shows. The miners or service providers like PayPal or your credit card company take a cut. This is also sometimes, especially in the crypto world, known as a gas fee. And then your transaction arrives. So in services like PayPal or with your credit card company, these fees are generally constant. So they don't really change that much. They can, but typically you know how much you're going to be giving. But for cryptos built on a blockchain, so Ether, Ripple, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever, you name it, the fees are set by users. And they generally correlate with the transaction load of a given block. That means when demand increases, price increases. Okay, so let's unpack this blockchain cost scheme a bit further. For those of you economically inclined, you might find this graph helpful. In any case, the supply, i.e. the block within the blockchain, is fixed. So only demand essentially can increase or decrease because, as we said, supply is fixed. There's only one block at any given time, and every transaction is trying to make it onto this one block. And what generally happens is that as demand increases, which it generally does because all the transactions, this one block, therefore, the price for the transaction increases because of this limited supply. There's only one block. And that's why you have these increasing transaction fees and these variable transaction fees with cryptocurrencies based on a blockchain. IOTA works differently because it's not built on a blockchain. So forget all the blockchain technology stuff. It's built on a Tangle, which looks like the picture provided. It's not a one block, 10 minutes, then it leaves. It's a lot of different nodes that connect, so it works a lot differently. Using the Tangle that IOTA is based on, it is impossible for IOTA transactions to get more expensive as demand increases because the transactions are feeless to begin with. There are no fees. And this is what it looks like to transfer IOTA. There's no middleman, there's no miners, there's no gas fees, nothing. 1 cent paid is 1 cent made. No middleman. So how is this possible? Well, unlike with the blockchain or with credit cards or PayPal, there's no middleman, as I said, and there's no miners. Users themselves process transactions. Users of IOTA and subsequently the Tangle validate their own transactions. So you're eliminating this person in the middle. And the more users we have using the Tangle, using the technology, the faster the validation process. And that has nothing to do with price because the technology is feeless. A final image I want to share with you is one that I find to be extremely important to understand IOTA and sort of the difference between that and the blockchain. So if you draw your attention to the red line labeled blockchain, as the number of users increases, not only does it get more expensive, but it gets slower. This is the exact opposite of what happens with IOTA. Draw your attention to the green line. So as the number of users increases, the speed is quicker. There's obviously no change in transaction fees because it's feeless, and the technology just works better and better and better. Thus, we continuously say it's infinitely scalable. Thanks so much for joining me today. Do click that like button. Share this video with people that are still confused as to how IOTA can be feeless and how it differentiates itself from cryptocurrencies based on blockchain technology. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.